I've got something pretty interesting. This is the Remus 9-year Experimental Series #1, and it's got a story to tell. Ross and Squibb, aka MGP, the folks behind the Remus brand, and who have pretty recently acquired Penelope, they supply a ton of whiskey to pretty much every non-distilling producer known to man, did a special partnership. They took 9-year bourbon that was aged in Seguin Moreau barrels. That might sound like it's some kind of fancy wood or something like that. No, Seguin Moreau is a cooperage that has mostly made its name in the cognac and wine industries. So instead of using a more common cooperage like we're used to, say like the Kelvin cooperage or something like that are more known in the bourbon world, they went to someone who is more specialized toward making barrels for cognac and wine. All of the staves that were used were aged for 24 months, and this is the result. We have 107 proof MGP, but it's aged with some different staves. So let's break this open and see if this is worth hunting down for you. That's not bad. Now while we give that a minute to breathe, let's go over some quick notes. I was able to get this at $55.99 plus Washington state taxes, so that's about $70-ish total. It's like 73 something, but whatever. 107 proof, 9-year-old bourbon. But again, the barrels are from a company that is more known in the cognac and wine industry, and Seguin Moreau established their cognac department for barrel making back in the 1800s. So they've been doing this for quite a while. And there's lots of people who have talked about the differences between using Kelvin cooperage barrels as an example compared to independent stave company ISC. These are kind of the two biggest and most well-known brands inside of bourbon. There were companies like, as an example, Old Forester made their own barrels for quite a while, but they've recently sold their cooperage, so they're not going to be making their own barrels going forward. And as we well know, part of the color and a lot of the flavor that comes into our beloved brown water here is because of the barrel. So let's see how a company that is predominantly known for cognac and wine barreling can influence the bourbon market. Alright, let's kick 2 Minute Tuesday off. Great color, as you would expect from 9-year MGP. Well, you see that, but viscosity-wise, we've got some good little legs starting to form. It looks fairly oily for 107 proof. It's taken its sweet time coming off of the initial rim here. Let's get in the nose. Oh, this is not like normal MGP at all on the nose. So on the nose, normally with most MGP products, and a lot of the Remuses have been an example, we could look at like the Remus Repeal Reserves I've done in the past. I get quite a lot of like black pepper, a little bit of kind of like leather, and decent oak. Not here. This is much more of a spice blend, and you could think of like allspice, something like that, where it's just different. I'm not really getting any fruit. Sometimes I get some kind of citrusy things that come out of a lot of MGP products, but here, this is like buttercream frosting. I mean, it is like rich. The oak is definitely there at 9 years, but this just smells like a really well-spiced kind of cake with a rich frosting on it. And I'm digging that. Oh, let's get into the palate. Holy. Yo, this ain't your dad's MGP. Wow. I said there wasn't any fruit in the nose. That completely changes on the palate. You can tell this company makes wine barrels because there's almost like a red wine, almost like when you cook it and reduce it down for a sauce, right? There is this dark red wine kind of fruity note in there, but it's not hyper sweet. You get a lot of that allspice that I kind of mentioned. It's just like this wonderful spiced cake kind of thing going on. There's definitely a lot of creaminess and almost like I said, buttercream frosting. It's there on the palate. It's incredible. And the oak is given this nice kind of all the way through the pour, subtle influence, but it's more on that savory side. Dude, this is cool. Going back for a little extra sip. There's a little, what I would say is like close to like maple syrup in a sweet note, but it's really, really subtle underneath that bigger spice note. I just can't get over the fact of thinking of this kind of like a spice cake. Maybe it's had like a little soak of some kind of like wine sauce, thin layer of buttercream frosting on the top of this thing. That is what this is like to me. And I like it a lot. Let's get into the overall score. I'm going to give this a flat 80. This is a $70 bottle of MGP whiskey at 9 years, so it's close to the similar price point of the estate collections, and it's a similar proof at 107. I think this drink's way higher than that. If you like the standard kind of spicy MGP profile, this is a really cool way to get into something that's going to sit close to that, but give you a few things that are adjacent enough to it that are going to make it a little more unique and special. I hope that other companies try these barrels and do things with them, because that kind of red winey fruit note that was coming out and the very different spice note from the barrel char that's going on really puts a spin on what I'm used to in standard MGP in an extremely good way. Like, I'm honestly a little surprised at how good this is, but I went on some blind faith from a friend of mine, thanks to who I'm now just gonna have to upgrade him to cousin, the Bourbon Baller Lee, or Cousin Lee as I'm gonna start calling him, because this is a fantastic bottle. He talked it up quite a lot, and it's not letting down. So the question then becomes, how does it compare to a lot of the other Remus products, or maybe even some of the Penelope products? I honestly, and maybe it's the proof, I like this more than almost all the Remus Repeal Reserves I've tried. It'd probably be a close with the 5, just because 5 has such a wonderful, balanced, delicious profile. I think you would have to step up into something like the Gatsby, which is going to be slightly more proof, but not a whole lot more, to get a depth of flavor that rivals what's going on with these Seguin Moreau barrels compared to the extreme age that's coming out in the Gatsby. And that's a $200 bottle. So if you're getting similar depth of flavor out of this $70 bottle as you would to that $200 bottle, you have to score it well, right? This stuff's really good. Wow. Yeah, man. I like this a lot. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Have you tried this yet? Have you even seen this yet? What are your thoughts? Does my interpretation of what it tastes like and smells like make you intrigued and want to go find one? Let me know in the comments down below, because having tried this now, I think this is hunt worthy, because one, you're going to get it at MSRP. It's not going to be something that gets jacked up in price, but it has a really great flavor profile, and it's not very expensive for what you're getting. That's a winning combination in my book. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, because once we hit 500 subscribers, we're going to do a number of flight giveaways. So you're going to have a chance at a sample flight of a number of amazing whiskeys. This will include many, many high-end whiskeys, so consider subscribing. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a bottle of E.H. Taylor single barrel, and probably a few other things. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome.